Okay, we got there in the end. I realized it was because I was trying to do it on my laptop and there was nothing coming up. So scratch that idea.
Okay, so it
This way.
doesn't work with the computer. So
Yeah, I'm
that's good to know.
discovering that now.
Yeah, that's that's good to know.
I mean, it makes
So
sense. It is an app, but like, come on. Anyway,
there was
just as
something that I
well,
was.
I actually did get my tripod out just in case this happened. So
Oh,
we're all good. Hold on.
yeah, and I like the fact that you have planned it, but you didn't push it already set.
I'm not quite that organized. Read at all. I do also have like the shiniest forehead known to man as well. So there we go. Total professional.
Perfect. Perfect. We're gonna cut that for the replay. Just don't worry about that. Just pretend it never
Yeah.
happened.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
The first thing that I was really happy about is because I know that you're from Scotland, if I remember well.
Mhm.
And I was so freaking out that you might have a strong accent. And I saw that you have a YouTube channel, so I went there and I realized that, oh no, she doesn't have a strong accent. So I was really pleased about that.
It's funny, like, I wouldn't say my accent's that strong anyway, but there's been times, especially when I've gone like down south to the south of England, and I've spoken to people, and they're like, what are you saying? What are you say? Can you speak slower?" I'm like, "Not that bad."
Oh man. Because little behind the scene here, there is James from Bella Stories, who is from the UK. He's and there is moment when I just nod my head because I couldn't just get what he was talking about, and I was just too afraid to ask him.
Smile and nod, just smile and
Yeah, I
nod.
just nod. Yeah, this is truly the best way to go.
To be
Okay,
fair,
so
it can be the speed as well, because I do like automatically slow down. Whereas if I'm speaking to like my friends and stuff, like I pick up and I start speaking quite quickly, and so like you know, I get
do that. I know that my boyfriend, for example, when I send him voice mail or voice messages, he always like, I wish I could just slow down because I speak French very fast, and he is not really French native, so he learned French. And yeah, I think that sometimes when we are just new friends, we just go natural, you know. So yeah.
yeah.
So, as you know, I like to call out the person I interview for something specific. And in your case, it's definitely going to be about how inclusive and safe your account is.
Oh,
It's just really heartwarming to see the story that you share on Instagram and to see that you are really, well, just a little side note for the people who is going to watch this. This is going to be a total Wokistan, whatever it's called, podcast today. But this is really cool to see someone who know what they're talking about and speak the truth somehow. So it really feels safe, and I really appreciate that from you. Okay, so the first question I would like to know also is because you have Max and Juno. Yeah.
I do.
Where are they? Because they are missing in your Instagram feed. Yeah.
Hello. I have so many photos that I've taken, and I'll sit on my phone and I'll edit them all, and so like, oh, they're all nice, and I'm like, right, I've got them all edited, I'll post them tomorrow, and then, oh, I'm doing something else, or I go out for the day, oh, I better post the pictures I took when I was out today. I have so many, like I've got like 4,000 pictures on my phone, and so many of them are just doll pictures. Like I've got ones of like all my fantasy ones. I have ones that I took like 2 years ago.
What the fuck?
There was one, I had one, and we went out on a walk somewhere, and there was a waterfall in the background, and so I got her standing there with like her little magic staff and the waterfall in the background, and the light was nice, and I was like, yes, I'll post that. Nope, still on my phone.
But hold on, you have two accounts or something?
No. Why are there balloons suddenly?
Oh, I wonder if it's because of the peace.
Like,
yeah, I think it's because of that. The more you know. When you do that, you have balloon. Sorry, I'm just gonna. Do you have?
No, it doesn't.
Have balloon too?
Oh no! There you go.
Yeah, you have it. Some people now you know.
Oh, it was thumbs up.
Oh my god!
Oh no, we get a light.
Cool.
There we go.
like
Oh,
press?
technology.
Oh, it's crazy.
The more you know. The more you
I
know.
feel like a 4 years old, but that's really cool to have someone just in the same mood.
This is this is me. I was one time playing I was playing D&D with my friends, and so we're all doing it like through I think it was like through Facebook or something. And suddenly someone changed, and they'd obviously like activated the filters. And so their background was now like underwater. And we're having this like serious conversation about like fighting or doing whatever. And she's suddenly just there with like an ocean behind her. And we're like, what are you doing? Wait, I want to do that. And everyone else was doing it. And I can't remember whether I was on my phone or I was on like an old
Oh,
version of Facebook. I
no.
couldn't do it. So everyone else had these cool backgrounds, and I'm just there like, cool, yep.
Oh,
Sorry.
God. But that's, yeah, I can totally relate to that too. That being said, because people are reacting to the fact that they also have the tendency to stock images and they don't use it, the question I was wondering about is, do you have any folder on your phone to have all the access of your photos or something?
Kind of. I tend to be really bad at well, I've got ADHD, so like organizing is kind of a
Me
double-edged
too.
sword. Yeah.
I have been diagnosed. I'm officially like one of them.
So like, so on that one hand, I like being organized. I like having things like my room is a complete mess, but everything has its place. Like I've got boxes. I've just dropped things on the floor, but that's fine. You know, everything is in its own little box. Like all my like, I mean, okay, if we're talking boxes, I'm gonna have to show you my doll boxes.
Oh,
All right,
God.
hold
Why
on.
do I feel like it's gonna be so accurate?
Well, we've got. I can't see because I'm not looking at the camera. Hold on. So we have.
Oh my God, this is really organized. Oh
Well,
God.
we've got those ones, but then we've got the more fun ones. So we've got
Oh
like
God.
good
Good
bodies,
body.
other
Oh
bodies,
my
which is
God.
good. And then we've got my favorite is the bottom one for
Yeah,
the
I heard
mangled
that a
look.
lot. People like bottom.
And then there's like everyone else who I hardly touch. And then that's the kind of favorites that sit out here,
Oh my
including
God.
a sneak peek at a mini me that I've still not actually posted pictures of.
Oh,
Um, but like, so there's that. But then when it actually comes to doing things, I'm just sort of
are
like,
you
eh.
crazy? I mean, this is, to me, this is like a dream coming true. I have boxes and I don't put sticker and label on it because I never thought it
Honestly,
was a possibility to do.
honestly, that is like life changing. I don't even buy labels. I just get a piece of like masking tape and just Sharpie on everything in my room, like my paints. It's like all the colors. They're
Oh my.
haphazardly stuffed in there, but they've got a thing on it. So yeah, that's the
Hold on.
answer. Just label the shit out of everything. Can't go wrong.
Just gonna try to get it without breaking everything around. Because you're talking about being organized and having, you know, like boxes for paint.
God.
This is my paint box. See, this is how organized I am. And you know what's worse? I have boxes inside the boxes.
Okay, I've got like a little shelf.
And I have two
Probably
of
can't see
them.
it. Like I've got like a little shelf with some paint, and then I've got loose paint, and then I've got paint in here. We ignore the pile. We don't talk about the pile. And then I've got more paint here that I can't access because of the pile
Oh my God.
bodies. Like, so like one part will be like, this is perfect. Everything has its place. This is great. And then there's just this like assemblage of stuff.
Hold on.
And because you know that thing where like you're in the zone, you're making a thing. Yes, that exactly. That is literally a picture of my room. How have you been in my room?
This is
Honestly though, it's that thing. You'll be in the zone and you're doing a thing, and then suddenly like all the motivation goes, and you're like, it'll come back. So
eventually.
I don't pack it away. I'll just put it over here. A month later, you're like,
Oh my God.
maybe I should do something about that.
But that being said, I mean, it wasn't planned to go that way, but I would like to know a little bit more about something you said about, because I had been diagnosed with ADHD recently, and I kind of having like a new, what's the word in English, but like a new working process to learn about how it works and how it affects my life. And I was wondering, when you find out that you had ADHD, how did you reorganize yourself knowing that it's not your fault?
Oh, that's a hard one, because the way that the NHS is at the moment, it's taking years to get a diagnosis. Like, if you go on my Instagram, I've got a thing for like health that's in my thing. Ignore most of it, but towards the end, there's me trying to get a diagnosis, and it took about nearly like 2.5, 3 years, and that was just so I could speak to someone.
Oh my!
That was me. Like, I spoke to my GP, and I was like, I think I've got it. I've done all my research. I literally wrote like an essay. It was like 11,000 words of like, here's all the symptoms I have. This is how it's affecting my life. I'm pretty sure I have it. Diagnosis, please. And they just sort of went, oh, I'm not really qualified to know, so we'll have to send it to somebody else. It's like, okay, fair enough. And it just took so long, and I finally got back in contact and was like, when am I going to speak to someone? And they're like, oh, that you're on the waiting list. And this just took so long. I mean, it literally was like 18 months before I could talk to somebody.
Yeah, I can.
And
totally
they
understand.
were just kind of like, I don't know, you know, your social skills are too high. I'm like, just,
I mean,
and then I finally did
that's
get the
amazing.
diagnosis, finally. But then I had to jump through a million hoops to get approved for medication, because they were like, oh, well, you know, we don't think that you're like ADHD enough. You're not severe to get medication. And I was like, bitch, please. Like,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
like, I have no job. I live at home. I have like nothing going for me right now. Please give me some drugs. And yeah, it's taken forever. So, but yeah, finally got started taking it in January. And whoa, it's made such a big difference.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
like,
my God, this is really
it's taken a while, because at first, you know, you don't, well, I always struggled to take tablets as well. So that was half the battle, was just taking the tablets. But like, I used to be a night owl. I would be awake and making things at like 2 a.m. every night. I'd wake up at midday and then just craft all night, and I'd be quite happy. These days, I'm getting sleepy by about 8 o'clock. Like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but that doesn't say much, because you can go to bed and then the brain start over again with a new routine.
But even so, like, it's just been really drastic, and I just find I'm less like cluttered in my head, and I'm not. I can focus more, but I'm not. It used to be, if I started something, I had to see it through to the end.
Wow.
Like, I had to just finish it, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't touch it again. You know, you have to follow through. Whereas now I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm not in the mood to finish that. I'll set it aside. I'll do it another day, and I can come back to it, which is like, oh, that's really good. It has kind of dented my creativity a little bit, because I feel like, because I'm not as obsessive about stuff. I'm not having the same like drive to create as I used to, which is why I've kind of been like this year. I don't even think I've set up a diorama this year, because as I say, I don't have space.
I was about to ask about that, because
the thing is, with my dioramas, I just have my bedroom. Like, that's it. I don't have a doll room. I don't have a designated space. I just have my desk, which like isn't very big.
It is.
Well, yeah, but it's not very deep, so I can't really have much space.
Yeah, I can understand.
So like, all my backdrop, everything has to be like
foldable or something.
Yeah, so everything. I have these huge big plastic boxes that all my dioramas are in, and it means that like it takes me a good hour or two to like just set everything up, and then I'll photograph stuff, but then I can't do anything else at my desk. So I really have to be like, okay, why am I putting the diorama together? Do I have an idea for like a photo story or like specific thing?
The pro, the cons.
Oh, annoying.
But the truth is that I have built like the dioramas for my new dolls, Malik, and I placed it on the bedroom, because I have like a desk on the bedroom, and my boyfriend made a new one here for him to do his work and something. And so now I have the office that I have in the bedroom that is now with all the dioramas up into another. I use the kitchen tables, but my in-laws are in town, so I just had to clean all the mess that I had in the kitchen tables. And the office of my boyfriend is the one that you saw on the beginning, that is full with all my stuff. So, yeah.
Like, that's the dream though, to be able to have stuff just set up, because
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I mean, it would get covered in
what I
dust.
like to
But
say is that he is German.
mhm,
My family is from Middle Eastern, like North Africa,
mhm.
and I like to say that yeah, I grew up in France, so I learned about colonization
Mhm.
and I colonized the place. Yeah, without asking for permission. You don't knock on the door saying, "Can I stay?" No, you just go full on there. So I did it. And if he complains, I'm gonna say, "Yeah, you colonized. You don't know what you're talking about." That's
Oh
gonna be the
god.
mood. That's gonna be the mood. Oh man, but yeah. So this is the reason why you didn't get back to
Yeah.
the story with this
Like,
all.
I have so many ideas. I really want to redo like the living room one because it was never I never quite liked it. But it's such a I don't know. I've got so many Pinterest boards of inspiration, and it's just like for this room and for this room and for this room, and like all my clothing inspiration. Like the thing with Max and Juno that I found is that everyone who ever comments on my pictures, they're always like, "Oh, Max is my favorite," and I'm like, "That's fine, that's cool. I love her too." But she's really boring when it comes to clothes because her color scheme is basically black and grey, and that's
Uh,
it.
well,
And so
it's like
and
French
it's like
people.
just t-shirts and jeans, and that's fine, and I like making them, but which is fine because that's the sort of stuff I wear. Like, I'm pretty boring myself,
Me
but
too.
like with Juno, I just somehow end up with like a million outfits, and so like I have this like board on Pinterest of like it's like, oh, I'll see this top, I think I should make that in miniature kind of thing, and like Max maybe has like 100 pictures, and like Juno's is like 1,000 or something. It's just like, why are you doing this to me?
Oh, that being said, there was something that I was wondering about because you changed the hands, if I remember well,
Yes.
because it's not the Mattel kind of stock hand
Yeah.
that they used to have on the Made to Move.
I have bags of
You have a
hands.
bag of
I have
hands.
bags of hands, and they're all labeled as well, so I know whose they are. And I've got my other ones as well. Yeah, they're on. I just got them on AliExpress.
But it's like
Um,
the fashion royalty hand or something.
I don't know. I think it might be, but like they're quite. You need to tweak them a little bit because like the posts are a bit
Okay.
thin. So
Okay.
I just put a little bit of tape around it just to give it a little bit of grip.
Yep, yep, yep.
But yeah, they're really good. Um,
That
so
was something that surprised me the first time I saw your account.
yeah, well, I saw a few other people doing it, and I was sort of like, "Oh, where did you get those?" Because like I like how plain the original ones are, but they're so useless when you're wanting them to hold something because nobody holds stuff like this, and like it just bugged me. And I'm all about like articulation and
Oh, girl.
like that is the thing that really got me into dolls because growing up I wasn't a Barbie fan really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I didn't care because it was the 90s. Everything was pink and froofy and big puffy dresses, no princesses and fashion and shopping, and I was just like, ugh.
But that's pretty cool to hear that because I feel like it's quite an unpopular opinion because people are like, yeah, Barbie from the 90s and from early 2000 was pretty good. And I was like, she wasn't really that good.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's
only
unpopular opinion
I
somehow.
think
So
it's that
I'll
thing. A lot of
speak
people
it.
had them as kids, loved them, grew out of it, and then came back in. Whereas with me, it was like I just had Barbies because that's just what you had. That was the toy you were
Yep.
given. And I had a friend who had massive, like like a big bin, like for like your rubbish, a big bin, like about 2 foot high, full of Barbies, like just full of them, all just thrown in, and you just dig in and pull out a doll. Like she had so many, and I had two of the Spice Girls because of course I did. Um, and I'm still angry because my then best friend at the time, who was she was really manipulative and just a bitch.
Yeah.
She basically like convinced me to give her Scary Spice's black platforms because, oh, you're my best friend and you can, my best friend would let me have the shoes, blah blah blah. And I gave her them, and then we'd fallen out years later. And then years later at school, sorry, this is such a random story, but years later we kind of made up again at school. And in like our last year of high school, we were just like in the same class, we were talking again.
Oh.
And one day she's like, "Oh, do you want to come back to mine? Because I need to pick something up before class." And I was like, "Cool." So we went back and we're kind of reminiscing because the last time I was in her house was like when we were like, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something. And now we're like 16, 17. you know, and so we're in the room, and then suddenly there's this little like display shelf on the wall with like little trinkets and stuff, and I see these boots on the shelf, and I was like, oh god, do you remember? Like, do you remember you made me give you them, like all those years ago? You know, wasn't that funny? We were kids. And she went, no, I didn't. I've always had them. They were always fine. I was like, you bitch, you haven't changed.
Oh gosh, the audacity! Did you stole them?
No.
Oh, you should.
I should have, but like,
Oh god,
yeah.
you
So
should.
anytime I see like black platforms or I see those dolls, I'm just like,
Bad memories triggering.
If she wanted the red ones, she could have had the red ones. Like, they were fine. You could have taken, but I wanted the black ones, but no. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't really have that many.
Good though.
It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. I also, speak of this because that was from one of the Spice Girls ones, and I remember vividly somehow Jerry's head came off.
She was so scary.
Yeah, and I was kind of ashamed that I'd broken one because it was quite expensive, so I put it under the bed and pretended it didn't.
Well, I saw them on. They were on eBay and they were also on Etsy, and they were not that expensive. Not as much as I was thinking they would be. You know.
I think maybe the Spice Girls kind of aren't as not popular, but you know what I mean. Like their time has passed, maybe.
Yeah, but
dolls aren't.
There's kind of like this nostalgia going on, and people like to buy shit from the 90s.
They're not the best likenesses, though, are they? They're
well, I already answered that question on a previous interview, and so for the people who have seen it, I just said that they look nothing like the original. You know, like, well, it was 90s Mattel, so we can't really blame them for that. Yeah. And they're still fucked up the recent Ken Ryan Gosling head. So. Yeah. And now they were making a new wave, so people have to buy them if they want the one.
So weird. It's like, why would you have one that's clearly based off the actress, and then the other one is just like generic Ken?
Not even generic Ken. It's just he's not that. Oh my god. Oh my gosh! And people got them, and I just felt so sad because I felt like, why do you get him when it doesn't even look like him? There is not. Zero likeness to Ryan Gosling compared to what they're coming with now recently. So yeah. Anyway,
who knows?
But so you didn't start with Barbies.
Well, I did have Barbies, but I wasn't really that interested. The only one that I liked, it was one of the gymnast ones. I think it was like it wasn't an Olympic one. I don't think it was like she was in like a pale blue
pink thing, like Barbie pink.
I don't think it was pink. I think it was like pale blue, like leotard.
Okay.
Maybe like with white. I can't remember, but anyway, she's the only one that I kept from my childhood, and she's had a pretty hard life because I went through that phase of like rejecting all things like girly.
Oh wow.
And so it was like, I don't like you because you're Barbie and because you're pink and because meh. Yeah. And so she became like the only reason I kept her and the only reason I liked her was because she was articulated, which, you know, started off. And she could ride her horse, right? Because horses have always been like my thing. And she could actually bend her legs and she could bend her elbows, and so she could ride her horse. And whereas all the rest of them were just like this.
Yeah, the fight by articulation, like
so
basic.
I kept her. But over the years, like, I kind of decided to fully reject the whole, like, fancy Barbie thing. So I cut off her fringe because I didn't like it. So it was a big, poofy 90s fringe. So I chopped that off. I gave her battle scars because obviously she was, like, a warrior or something. And I literally got like scissors and like gouged her face, right? And then years later, I saw a thing about how you could heat up the hands to bend the fingers because I thought, oh well, I can make her like hold, so she's got wonky fingers. And then years later, I found her and I thought, well, I'll repaint her face because I'd given her war paint with Sharpies and it was bad.
Sharpies? No shit, it was bad.
And I found her today.
Yeah, she's kind of like
you can't really see there, but there's like legit scars.
But she looks good today. Like you repainted her, I wasn't expecting that she would look like
hands. Yeah. Oh, also,
there was pretty cool with the finger.
She's got like wonky legs. But also, Instagram will probably flag for this, but I must have had her in like a swimsuit at some point and left her on a radiator. And unfortunately, the plastic kind of melted into her boobs. So she's got some like
Real scars.
interesting scarring.
Real scars.
Yeah,
We
so
don't
this
know
is where it
how
all
they got
started.
here, but she got real scars. That's a real warrior. Oh,
But yeah, I had her, and then I just left her in a box for years, and I was really into model horses for a long time, from about 2005 onwards. Funnily enough, I'd seen a lot of the Mycene dolls when they came out.
Mhm.
Even though I wasn't into dolls, I remember seeing adverts and thinking like, "Oh, those are really cool! Like, I love all the accessories and I like all the stuff and they're articulated and all
Agreed.
this." And then, but I was like, "Oh, I'm too old for Barbie. Whatever. I'm just gonna
Wow.
collect toy horses."
Okay.
And then years later, when I was looking at some other model horse people's stuff, someone had posted. It was one of those. I don't think it was a Barbie horse, but it was one of those ones that had like actually articulated legs.
Wow.
You could move all four legs, but they had a dragon. What's it? It's Dragon in Dreams. DID action figure. They're like one of the 6 scale military figures. Had one of them riding the horse, and they had all tacked it up and everything. And I was like, this looks so realistic. Like, where have these been? This is so cool.
That's so cool.
And that just sent me down the rabbit hole.
Oh.
And so I started looking more like 6 scale action figures on forums and stuff. And then sort of gradually I was starting to think, well, they're quite expensive to buy the figures. I'll just see if there's any Barbies knocking around, because that's close enough. And I found a couple of fashionistas, and because, you know, they're articulated. And it just sort of snowballed, really. And then when the Made to Move came out, it was like, yes, gimme.
Yeah, sign me up. But this is the thing that I was wondering about. How did you come up with the 2 main dolls, the Max and Juno? How did you come up with the 2 of them? Did you
Honestly,
get the character first, or
it's
the
really-
dolls first?
It's really random, actually, because I got Juno first. I was in TK Maxx, which I don't know if they have that in France. It's like the discount. It's like a discount store. It's like big. All the like end of line stuff was there, and I was just randomly in there looking at the toy section, and it was just after the Divergent film had come out, and because that was the tie-in doll for that, and I remember just suddenly seeing her and just going like, "Oh wow, like that's such a nice doll," and she was like £14 or something, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna buy a doll." And then I don't know how soon after that the Made to Move ones came out, and I just bought 2 at random. I think it was like from Argos or something. You just literally couldn't choose which one you wanted, but you got 2, and one of them was Max. And I just started making clothes for them, and then just one day I just like had them sitting next to each other, and I was like, "Oh yeah, of course they're a couple." That was it. There was like literally no thought process behind it at all. It's just like, yeah, of course, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my god, this is the best wedding plan ever. You're gonna sit together. Oh well, you look good. You're gonna be married now.
But yeah, it's kind of funny as well, because like I was doing all this before I actually realized I was queer as well, which is quite funny. And then a few years down the line, it's like, oh,
there were some signs here and there. Yeah, speaking.
But yeah, there's no like great story. It was just they just happened to be there. Like I have a blog that I rarely post on these days, and I think I literally just had the first pictures of them.
Oh, cool!
And it was the first room. I think it was the first room I tried to make, and it was literally just 4 walls and like some cardboard, and like really basic clothes, because I was still teaching myself to sew. But yeah, that was like quite a while. I don't even know how long ago that was now. It was like...
Well, I just checked because your Instagram account was created in 2012, just so you know.
Okay. Well, it was after that. But
Well,
probably not that far after that, because I was at college in 2013. Yeah, so it's probably around then. Yeah.
just saying. I checked that.
It's been a while.
No, it wasn't that far away. Maybe about 10 years ago. So it's not that much, you see.
Yeah.
10 years, nothing. Oh my god, 10 years.
I know.
I don't remember what I was doing there. Also, you have BGDs, if I remember well.
No.
You don't have tall dolls?
Nope.
You only have 1/6 scale?
Mm-hmm.
The one on the shelf that you have on the side is 1/6 scale?
Which one? What are we looking at?
This way for you.
I don't
Like
see
this
them.
way. Yeah.
Oh, like in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all just Barbies.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they look so big. I thought it was with like BGDs or something.
No, the ones at the top, they're my fantasy ones. They're the two on the left are made to move, but with like action figure heads.
Oh,
And the
wow.
one on the right, I can't remember what body he has, but that's like an action figure one as well.
Mm.
But yeah, as soon as you put like a realistic head on them, like you could never tell.
Well,
Which is great.
I was about to say, because I really thought
So I'm gonna bring them down because this is like a really awkward position. Hold on. Park this thing properly. Oh my god, my forehead.
We all have the forehead, you know.
Seriously, every time when I'm playing D&D with my friends, everyone else looks normal and I'm like a bloody solar panel over here.
No, it's like a holy saint or something.
Or something, yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, so like this is the one that I'd taken with the. Actually, I've got several pictures of these dolls beside waterfalls, and I still haven't posted them.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Which is really annoying. But like, yeah, unfortunately, her hair has some static issues. But yeah, she's one of my faves. So it's like all the clothes are handmade, and I repainted her face and like hair and stuff. You can't really see it properly on the screen.
Yeah, but the outfit is just outstanding.
They're great fun. I need to find like a name to like put them all together, because originally they were like versions of my Skyrim characters from Skyrim, and so I was like, oh, this is like them in Skyrim. But then when I started playing D&D, I was like, no, I'll just make them a bit more like generic fantasy, so they're not tied to like anything specific.
Agree.
So yeah, so you got her. I redid her hair the other day.
But that's pretty good. It's a little bit more easier in a way that you don't have to build that much dioramas, because you can do only battle scene.
Yeah, this is why most of the time when I post doll pictures, it's when I'm out somewhere, because it's easier to just take a picture in nature. But at the same time, I really love dioramas, and I have so much stuff. Like I have so much, like I can't even, in fact, no, I can show you. It's probably going to be really dark because my room is dark. Okay, so.
Well, it's late night.
Oh wait, hold on, I can turn the camera around. That would be easier. Technology. Right, I've got lots of model horses, right? Ignore all them. Those ones, like the stacked ones there, that's all doll food. That I can't even read my own writing. Oh, that's just like some other stuff. That's more model horse things. That's fabric and crafty stuff. In there is like a shit ton of craft stuff. We don't talk about that. And then you can't see this, but those big boxes are all my dioramas.
Oh Lord.
So like I've got, can I zoom in this thing? No, I can't zoom. So like the top one is my craft room.
Yeah, I can see a table right here.
Like there's like all sorts. There's 4 boxes there, and then right in front in this big IKEA bag. Ignore the bushes. Like they're for something else.
I think we know.
But that IKEA bag, that's the kitchen, and like all my actual backdrops. But yeah, I don't have anywhere to store them, so they just take up the floor. Yeah, so like I have so much stuff, and like I love putting dioramas together, and that's one of the things I love most about this scale, because because of the size.
You agree?
You can do so much with it. But I just don't have the space, and I just
say quote
so
unquote for that.
It's so annoying.
Well, this is why hold on. I've been working on that today, because I'm trying to downscale my story somehow, so I kept the same main character, and I decided to paint him in the 1/12 scale shape.
Ooh.
So now the next dioramas will be in 1/12 scale and not 1/6 scale, so less space consuming.
See, I used to do everything in 12th scale, because one of the model horses that I collect are called Juleps. It's a British brand, so very small, all handmade. They're made with latex, with wires in their legs, so you can pose them. Again, articulation. They're not very realistic, like they're very stylized, but they're very cute. And so I used to do so many photo stories. Like that was what I was known for in the hobby. That was me. I used to do them all the time, and I had like a stable, and I had like loads and loads of dioramas and stuff, and I've not touched them in years because I've gone into this. But it still takes up tons of space. But 12th scale, like you're more likely to get like furniture and stuff, because it's, you know, it's a more well-known scale.
It is true, but the fact is that it's kind of we have few shops in France that sell or create one close scale furniture, for example.
Mhm.
But it's really like Versailles
Mhm.
kind of material and furniture, and I'm really like wanting to have something more modern and less, like the kings and queens and all that
Yeah,
shit. So
I found that as well. Everything's always very Victorian
yeah,
and very old fashioned, and you're like, that's fine, but
a little bit
we've
of
ordered
more
table.
diversity will be appreciated for those who like to be modern times. Just saying, you just put it out there. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just had to downscale because the space is going to be very very
Mhm.
complicated. Otherwise, with work with because I
Yeah.
want my dream is to build a city,
Oh, that'd be so cool.
but not really like a big city with all the building and all that shit.
Mhm.
Just like a random square something
Mhm.
and few buildings, and you can just have some photos like. Like my social inspiration is always Buffy,
Mhm.
and there is some scene that happened in Sunnydale, and you see her fighting in front of the theater or something, and it was something I really wished to create and to do. So that's space.
I'd love like that it's a very I think it's a very English thing. It's like the model village, and it's like scaled down versions of a
Oh my
village
god, I think I know what
outside.
you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like loads of them. I've only been to like one, I think, when I was a kid, but I've always wanted to go to one with like scale figures and just take
Uh,
pictures. And if I had all the money, and I had a huge big garden, I would do a 1/6 scale like town or something. Like I do have like a planter that's about like this big,
yeah.
maybe. That I finally planted up earlier this year to make it look like a little garden. It's not exactly what I wanted, but again, I took loads of photos of the dolls there with like their buckets and their spades and wheelbarrow and doing all the gardening, and I haven't posted them yet. So
I was expecting the ending somehow for some reason, but I was expecting it.
I mean, I've promised myself that this Christmas I'm going to post the photo story that I actually photographed back in 2020. Because I did a
Few
whole
weeks
thing
ago.
because it was COVID, everyone was in quarantine, and so I
Right.
thought, oh well, I'll just have Christmas where it's just the two, and they're like cooking in the kitchen, and I had the kitchen diorama out, and I did like all the like cooking, and I did all this stuff, and I took so many photos, and it took me so long to edit them that it was like January, and I'm like, oh,
Four
I can't
years.
post them
It
now.
has been
I'll wait till
4 years.
next Christmas. And yeah, so I've decided it's now going to be like the intro is just going to be, oh, remember that time a few years ago we had Christmas in quarantine? Here it is. Ooh, memory. And then, yeah. So,
Good work. I mean, you even if you don't say it was quarantine, you just post it. People will not know what's in quarantine. So.
but then I need to write. I need to write it anyway. It's been so long. But
But
yeah, that's my
that was
other thing. Like I love photo stories. I've always done them, but I really struggle to do it on Instagram because it's not the right format. Like I used to post stuff on my blog all the time, and it would just
yeah
be images, 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 and then like
yeah.
text, images, images, images. But then stupid Blogger stopped working with Flickr, which is where I host all my images. And now it's like, oh, you have to like upload them to Google first, and like because it's part of Google, it's like Google Images or something. I don't know what the thing is, but you have to then upload them to Blogger and then post them, and you've only got a certain amount of space, and I'm just like, ugh,
Yeah, I get it.
but on Instagram, it's the more pictures you post, the quality goes down, and
Really?
you've got text on it, and it's just yeah. Well, you notice that if you post multiple pictures in one post, the quality is not as good.
No shit.
Yeah, I think they must like put the quality down just to like make it more efficient or something. I don't know. Which is why I rarely put. That's why I used to post just like tons and tons and tons of pictures in quick succession because I didn't want to ruin them. But now I'm just like whatever. I put the originals on Flickr anyway, so they're up. And
Yeah, but Flickr is becoming now. You have to pay a subscription now to.
I've had the sub for years because it's like I just use that for my image storing basically because I have at last check about 64,000 photos on Flickr.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so I don't have the hard drives I used to have them on. So I mean, if anything happens to my like I've got nothing on my laptop basically, like no hardly any photos. so yeah, if something went wrong with that, then yeah.
You
So
don't have the
I pay
Alright.
my extortionate
Oh,
fee
that
every
being
couple of years.
said, I don't know if you can actually download like your data or something on Flickr.
Mhm.
You can maybe do that because I have a friend, James, I was talking about earlier,
Mhm.
who do that sometimes on Instagram to just download all his posts
Uh,
and to make sure that he have a
well, you can
copy.
on
Yeah.
Flickr you can do that. You can select like albums or whatever pictures and download them, and they send you a zip file with all your images in it. So like it's really handy if you want to just like back up
Yeah,
like a certain number.
you never know.
I'm just lazy and I don't have space on my laptop, so I just keep them there and hope for the
You never
best.
know.
But I want to print some out because I've taken so many over the years, and I really want to do like one of those like photo book things
Yeah.
with some of my doll photos, and even just some of my like scenery pictures, because I've taken so many over the years. I'm like, that's a really good photo. I should print that out and put it on my wall, and I don't. So
You know that there is some services now you just download the photos and send them and they send you back the photos so you don't have to actually go to a
but
post office or something.
that means that I have to look at the photos and decide what
Oh
to
my god,
use.
it's gonna take so much
Like
time.
that's
Oh my
another
god.
thing to do.
I just had some anxiety just thinking about that.
I have to make a decision. Ah.
This is the thing that I usually do when I do the photos for my photo stories is I just go straight to
Mhm.
where I want to go. I have like 20 photos max or maybe some more if I do several parts.
Mhm.
I edit them all in a row and I just schedule them to make sure that it's done. And then once it's scheduled, I delete everything now on my phone. So
I
I'm like,
I
okay,
really need to do that because there comes a point when I'm looking through my photos on my phone, and I realize that half of them are screenshots of memes that I've sent to people. Um, some of them are photos, and then I'll have like the unedited photos that I've taken, and then I'll have the edited ones, but I can't remember if I've posted the edited ones. So I'm like, I don't want to delete them, but I don't want to delete the originals in case I need to edit them later, and then they just stick around. And I keep telling myself I need to have like a day where I just sit on my phone and I just
a week,
methodically go through.
a week.
But then I'll see something and be like, oh, I never actually sent that to somebody. I'll go and do that now. Or it's really bad.
That's one of my specialty too. Just jump in the conversation. Oh, I was thinking about you like three months ago. I had this screenshot that I didn't send you, so I'm sending you today. Even though you don't need it anymore, but just in case, here's for you.
So I'm
That's my
saving this for a
specialty.
special occasion. Or you find a joke or something and you're like, that I know that hit that landed really well when I sent it to someone. It's been 6 months, they've probably forgotten it, I'm gonna send it again. And
We never know. We never know. We never know. But there was something else that I really wanted to talk about because you had done several photos outdoor, and I always wonder, did you ever felt not ashamed to do it, but some stress to do some doll photography outdoor?
it's I'm not really like, if people see me doing it, then I'm not that embarrassed, unless like if I can see someone walking up the path and I'm taking a picture, then I'll probably like try and hide it, or like,
Okay.
you know, just in case someone like interrupts or something, or if they've got a dog or a small child. If they've got children, I'm just like, no, get away, like absolutely not.
Can I touch it? No.
But for most of the time, like if I'm taking pictures and I don't notice someone and they walk past, like it's fine. And I'm happy to talk about it if someone asks.
Oh
Like
wow.
it's fine. But I've not really encountered that. I had one time years and years and years ago on my first version of this doll when I sculpted her own head, and it was just a disaster. I was up on a walk with some friends up a hill, and it was kind of like very Moorland day, like some big rocks, and like it was a really good spot. And I had a horse because I'd made her a horse, and so like it was a 6 scale horse, so it was like
Kind of big.
this big, you know. And I was sat on this rock, and I had the horse, and I had the doll, and I was taking pictures, and suddenly I saw this couple come up, and it was this guy and like his son, who was like, I don't know, a child, I don't know how old they are, and they stood next to me on this rock, looking at the view, and didn't notice what I
No
was taking a
shit.
picture of.
No way.
So I do have a picture. I'll need to send you. There's a picture on my Flickr that I was, because I was still shooting the model, and I thought I'll just move the camera, and you can see them standing there, and there's this guy just like looking out, completely oblivious. It was great.
That's cool. That's cool.
So for the most part, my stress actually comes from, generally speaking, if I'm out on a walk somewhere, I'm with my parents because we will like, go out on walks and stuff. And the problem is I would quite like to just sit for 10 minutes and take photos. And my mum would just like to get to where we're going.
Oh, I see.
So, and my dad's kind of like me. He'll be off taking pictures of wildlife and whatever.
Yeah.
But you lose track of time. And so I'm always rushing, which is why sometimes I look at my pictures and I'm like, oh, you know, their hair was here or their hand was upside down or whatever, because I'm frantically just like, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. Okay, go. Because I've had so many occasions where I've looked and I've just seen my mum standing in the distance, just like come on.
No
like,
pressure, no stress, just so you know.
It's so annoying.
Thank you, Mom.
The problem is I don't drive, so like I can't really get places that easily. And there's like a few places that I can walk to, but there's one bit round the corner from me where I have taken pictures before, but it's really popular with dog walkers. So like I'm not risking it. Yeah, so it's annoying. It's annoying because there's so many times like when we go on holiday, I take like at least 4 or 5 dolls with me, and like but I have a rucksack and they're just stuffed in there, and then I've got like big boxes, like full of clothes and accessories and bits and pieces. Like, hold on, where is it? Yeah, like this is just one of the ones I took on holiday with me this like a few weeks ago, and it's like food, and I've got. What have I got? I've got chips. So if they want to have some chips by the seaside, got a little packed lunch. Got a couple of laptops. Got laptop charger. You know, orange juice.
Details. Oh my god.
Plates. Bottle of wine. You know, and like this is just the accessories, and then I've got a whole big thing of clothes because you know there's nothing less convincing than seeing someone in multiple locations over different days wearing the same outfit. So
I agree.
You know, they've got more clothes than I have. Like they've literally got more things than I have.
I think this is quite the common thing in the doll community. I mean, if I go to travel to somewhere, for example, you be sure that my dolls will have more clothes in my bag than me. Like I have 2 pants, maybe one only. If I can live with just one pants, maybe 3 or 4 shirts. And that's all. My doll will have like 5 pants, maybe 10, maybe 20 shirts. So at the end, wear maybe 3.
Yep, it's because it's that thing. I always take more than I need in case I suddenly find somewhere. I'm like, oh, this could be a really cool thing with this. Like again, when I was just on holiday, I did take some shots of this one, because her character is like a sort of thief, and there was it was like a desk in the house we were staying at that had like lots of little tiny shelves, and I was like, oh, it looks like a vault or something. So I was like frantically stuffing it with things so I could and then trying to light it so it looked like she was sneaking in, and I've not posted them either. It's
this one I didn't expect.
So, but honestly though, like I have so many ideas, and I've taken like a billion pictures of this guy.
Yeah.
Out and about.
Yeah,
I've got pictures of him by a river, by waterfall. I've got pictures of him fishing. I got one of him like almost falling off a cliff and like climbing and doing all this stuff. And I keep telling myself I'm going to make a photo story about a specific thing he's doing, and then I don't.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I remember that on the previous account when I follow you, you had that doll and you customized him, and I was really, really obsessed with that guy because this head sculpt that you got, I don't like it. I really don't like it. It just have this odd face, and I just it sounds like a pervert or something. Somebody don't want to meet in the street, you know, maybe a person even at night or whatever. And you customized him, and I was like, he is gorgeous.
It's funny because he was based off one of my Skyrim characters, so I literally was just looking on like eBay at 6-scale sculpts and just like, does you look like the guy? No. Maybe. No. Because that's the thing, because so many of them like are, well, some of them you get ones like that where it's an actual actor, but other ones you get a lot of like soldier ones from sort of like World War II or whatever. But they're always so grumpy looking. Yeah. And they're always just like, I'm like, I'm going to war. You're like, that's not going to work for me. Yeah. but I quite liked how just giving him a little, like, I don't even like beards, but it just worked for him, and he's sort of, he's a bit thick, really. I love him, but like he's kind of the golden retriever
I love it.
character.
I mean, honestly, this guy is just really, really, really handsome. And I'm not just saying that because I have a thing for blonde guy, but he is really handsome. Like, honestly, he's just so great. I was so pleased because you really went into a rush doing a lot of photos with him, and it was so cool.
I need to look back and see what I actually posted, because I've taken so many, and there was some I took, I think, last year on holiday, and we went to a few castles.
Yeah.
And so I got some really good castle shots, and I got one because I've made some little like lanterns with LED lights. And there was one particular bit where I've got him walking in this really dark part, and so you've got like the stone walls, and he's holding a little lantern that's actually lit, and the lighting just worked.
Oh my.
And every time I look at it, I'm just like, that looks so cool. I really should post that sometime.
My God.
Like, it's
You're
just that
killing
thing.
me.
I need to, like, I have this whole, for some of them I have whole storylines planned out. Like I have whole stuff with like that's the thing with like Max and Juno that really bugs me, because I know, like, I know a lot of their like backstory. I know all about their family life. I have like so many ideas for future stuff, but because I don't really post photo stories with them, I feel like they don't really exist as characters properly yet.
I get it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I used to do photo stories with my Juleps, and I would write so much, and somehow I can't quite translate that with the dolls yet. I really struggle to write for them. And I think it's because I'm not able to do photo stories in the same way I used to. So I'm having to adapt, but it's really annoying because I'm like, I have all this stuff.
Honestly,
I have all this lore.
It's really interesting that you're talking about that, because sometimes you just have, like, I had some dolls in my life that I had done photos with them, and I had this story planned for them, and it just didn't click. So I tried to do several photo shoot, like not even related to the stories, like different outfit, different photos, different lighting, just to catch something. And sometimes you just don't have a click, and it's kind of frustrating.
It's annoying because I have done some photo stories with them, and I've done like some stop motion as well.
Yes,
and I need to get back into that. But again, I need to set up a diorama for it, and it's the whole thing. But like I've done ones when we did NaMoPaMo, which was like the model horse painting thing in January, and I shot one for this year. And it was one of these things where I wasn't really in the mood, because this was around the time I was just getting my meds.
Yeah, okay.
So like, but I wanted to do it. So I've taken loads of pictures, and it was really good. But it was one of those kind of good and bad things where when I started shooting it, I didn't really have any idea. It was just, oh, I'm painting a pony in real life. Max is also painting a pony. Look, here's some pictures of her painting. Like, that was it. There was no real story. And then I was literally just taking a picture of her, like, taking the horse out to, like, give it a final spray coat. And I swear to God, it literally fell out of her hand onto my desk and broke.
Oh no.
And I was like, shit. It was just an ear. Like, just an ear came off. But suddenly I was like, oh, that's the story.
Oh.
Like, she was painting and then it broke, and now you're kind of like, oh fuck, I can't. What do? I nearly finished, and now it's broken, and I only have like a week left. Panic. And so I ended up that became the story, and I fixed it, and I repainted it, and it actually looked better than the original one. Again, I haven't posted that because by the time I finished editing it and everything, it was like March, and the event is in February or January. So it's like, damn it. But like, again, I'm going to at some point, because that's one of my plans.
Yeah,
for this year.
This is something that I really like, because I think it's Panic Pixie Dolls who done it, and I really loved it because she was having a story, and it was just happening in October for Halloween, and for some reason the story just paused, and she came back during winter and during the Christmas party, and one of the dolls said, I know that yesterday felt like it was Halloween, and now we just jumped ahead, but no, few days passed, and I just loved how she integrated in the story to make sure that, it just happened, and I just
time exists differently for
true,
dolls.
and we don't have to,
it's different.
And the thing is that I listened to a podcast which is mad about miniature or something like that.
Mhm.
And she always asks, because she always interview people who do dollhouses and miniatures, and she
Mhm.
always asks, "Do your dollhouse have stairs?" And that was
Mhm.
something that triggered me. Like, yeah, of course. I mean, it's a dollhouse, of course there has stairs. And she said that it's a miniature house, so you can have a sling, you can have like no stairs at all. Oh, well, it's a
Mhm.
dollhouse. You can do whatever you want. You can have an alligator in the house. And I was like, this just blew my mind, because I thought, yeah, why are we putting some boundaries on something that doesn't need to?
Mhm.
It's a miniature verse, so
Well, see,
whatever you want.
one way I like thinking about it is, see, if you've got a normal diorama, you're only looking at it from one
Yeah.
angle. So there's another half of the room. The stairs are just over there. Like, oh, that other room that we've not been in. Oh yeah, it's over there. You just can't see it. It's over there.
That's right.
It's like,
That is
it
for sure.
exists. Totally exists. Like
But we don't care.
another room like I really want to do weirdly is a bathroom.
Oh man.
Because I took for ages. I've been trying to find a bath or something to make into a bath,
Oh.
and I finally found an old Cindy one and repainted it, and so that's in the pile over there. And I'd seen somewhere that had like little taps. It was like a little novelty paperclip holder that had little taps. And I was like, "Ooh, perfect! I can do a thing." So I've got that, and I've got my bath, and I've nothing else.
Piece of advice for those people who are listening and watching who wants to do a bathroom. I recommend you go find the Sephora kits.
Mhm.
Sephora had like a packet for holidays for selling, like a gift bag or something, and all the product was put in a miniature bathtub.
Oh, I think I've seen that. I think
And
I
it's
just didn't
the
like the shape of it.
perfect size. Like, it's a really fancy, perfect size, quite large if you want to put $2 in it. Really perfect. So Sephora have it. So in case for people.
So I think I'd seen some. I don't think it was a Sephora one. I think it was like a knockoff, but it was that bath that's almost like a sleigh. There was like quite tall at one end, and I just didn't like it.
Oh,
It's too
well, that's a
it's too
Sephora one.
old fashioned. I want just like a bog standard, boring looking bath. Like,
But the worst is that I can totally relate. I really wanted to have the perfect bathroom for my dolls. I have 3 bathtub, different, and I'm not using them because I don't build another bathroom for my dolls. Actually, this one, so he never showered. So I'm sorry, we have to end the interview because we're about to have 1 hour and the Instagram account will
yes,
block.
that is fine.
One last question is, who would you like to see on the Chip Chat Show?
Oh God, I forgot about this. Oh God, I can't really think of anyone. Well, there's one doll person, but Bug Grotto.
Who?
Hello.
That's what
Yeah.
I said. 1 hour and then it just. Oh God! So you said who?
Bug Grotto. Hold on, I'll write it in the thingy. Hold on. You can look at my forehead for another 5 seconds.
No, it's actually on the hair, if that makes sense.
There we go. That is the one. But yeah, they do like 6 scale. They're like puppets. Well, not puppets. They're dolls, but like more art dolls.
Okay.
But they're all like bugs and creatures. And she's done a house, and it's all bug themed, and it's really cool.
Well, if you have connection, ask her if she wants to do this.
Well,
just in case. And the other question I was wondering about, and it will be the final question, is what is the meaning of your Instagram name, Link Art?
It's kind of random because for years and years and years on other hobby forums, I went by a slightly embarrassing, very Lord of the Rings inspired username, Elrina Greenleaf, which I kind of made up when I was like 11, and it just sort of stuck. And then when I joined Instagram, I kind of wanted to do something a bit different. And this was kind of when like steampunk became a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of into it. I thought it was cool, and I wanted like a username for a forum. And I was in a bookshop, and they had copies of Inkheart, the books, and which I'd read and I really liked. And I just saw them on the table and just kind of went, Inkheart. Oh, Linkheart. That sounds cool. I'll just put a Y in there and spell heart differently. Cool. And I feel like I'm smashing all your expectations here.
I love because now there is something that just triggers me is the fact that you go straight to the point. You know, you don't like overthink stuff or stuff
Oh, I
like this.
overthink. I
And I'm
overthink
just
everything
like,
else. But yeah, it just seemed like a cool name. The
it
only
is.
downside though is that unfortunately because art is at the end, I have a horrible feeling that some people read it as being like Lynn K Art, like my name is Lynn K,
Oh.
and I'm like, no.
Okay, one word.
Just one word. Just one
Otherwise,
word.
I will put a point or some period or something, but one
Yeah.
word. And there was also something that we didn't talk about, but since we just have another hour now,
Yeah.
it's about the crafting because you do craft a lot of stuff. You do sewing, you do miniatures, you do plants, you do many things. And I was wondering about, did you start because of the dolls or did you start before the
Oh,
dolls?
way before.
Oh, really?
Like I've always made things. Like as I say, I used to do a lot of 12th scale miniatures because my mum got me into Doll's House stuff when I was a kid. And when I was 11, they surprised me for Christmas with a homemade castle Doll's House. It was just 3 rooms, but it was done up to look like Hogwarts because I was like obsessed with Harry Potter at the time.
Who was it?
As we all were, but now fuck J.K. Rowling. And so like I used to make stuff for that, and you know there used to be magazines my mum would get, and it was like how to make things. But sometimes I'd look at stuff and I'm like, why is this in a magazine? It's shit. I could make better than that.
Oh,
And so like I've always had that mentality of why should I spend money? I'm also really stingy, really cheap. So why should I spend money on something that someone else has made when I can just sit for 12 hours and make it myself? And so like
I love the sense of reality of saying I can sit for 12 hours. I've started repainting this morning and I thought, well, I have 6 and 6, 12, so I have 15 head to repaint today, and I thought 3 hours. It took the whole day.
That's the thing. I'll sit and I'll have like a TV show or a podcast on or something. I'm like, I'll just watch that for like one episode, maybe two. And then before I know it, I've watched the whole season. I'm like, oh, should probably take a break now.
Today.
On the plus side, you get through a lot of TV. But
yeah, true. I watched. I was just thinking about watching the Kiki the witch thing. It was a Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
It was my favorite one. So I thought, well, it lasts 1 hour, so I'm just gonna watch it, and I'm gonna be halfway. And I just actually had to watch Kiki. I watched Chihiro. I watched the castle moving or whatever it's called. So yeah, I just had 4 movies.
It's so easy to do though.
Thinking that,
but it's a good measurement of time though, because like I got really into watching because I'm crafting Law and Order, like but the original series of Law and Order, like the police drama, but the original series from the 90s. And it's very like traditional like procedural show. So like there's a murder, oh no, we investigate, they find this thing, they go to the thing, like it always happens the same way, and it's the same amount of time for each episode. So it was great because I could just have it on in the background. I didn't even need to see the screen.
I agree.
And I could be sitting there sewing and doing whatever, and I know that it only lasts 40 minutes or whatever. So the next minute I've gone through like a whole season, and you know, I can just go, well, I'll just do one more episode. Just one more, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, Lord. And okay, so back to the crafting stuff. I would like to know, what is your recommendation for someone who is willing to start crafting? Like crafting miniatures, let's say. What is the stuff that you will recommend?
I don't even know. Just pick something you like and just try and make it, I suppose.
Okay.
I mean, I would say like Pinterest is okay. It's full of like stolen art and tutorials and stuff, but like it is a really good resource for finding things, especially sewing patterns. Like that's really useful for that.
That's good.
And YouTube and stuff as well. But like, just generally like look at stuff and then what does it look like? You know, it's like plant pots. If you're making plant pots, just find like a lid or something that looks like it, and then turn it into it. Like, I don't know. I think this is just because this is how my mind's always worked. It's obvious to me. You know, oh, well, I can make that out of this. And I
Boy, I
have so
love
many
to ask
friends
that
that aren't.
question.
I have so many friends that aren't crafty, and they'll be like, "How did you know? How did you know you could do this?" I'm like, "I don't know, I just did.
I know.
Just try it." Like,
But I love to ask that question because
Mhm.
most of the time people can't answer that question. And I feel like there's two possibilities of the reason
Mhm.
why. First, because the question isn't clear
Mhm.
enough. And the second possibility is that we are in autopilot mode. So we
Mhm.
don't know how to explain. We just do
Mhm.
it. So, you know, it's something that I really just find funny to just ask people because I feel like, okay, so I'm not the only one who is hard to explain what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And that's pretty cool. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. And for those who wanted to know about more about your crafting, I recommend to just check on your YouTube channel because you have made videos on tutorial on how to craft.
Mhm. And again, and that's another thing I want to do more of, but I need the time, and I've got the time. I just need
Yeah.
to be like in the mood,
Well, you know,
because when I'm doing
it's
when I'm
not
doing a
that hard.
video, it's so much more complicated. Like, you've got to film each bit, and I did a when I was painting models a few years ago for Namo Paymo,
Yeah.
I did actually record every
Oh,
step of painting one of my horses, and I'd never done a painting tutorial before, and I was like, "Do you know what, I'm just going to give it a go." And I had like close-ups of like tiny little paint strokes and like doing all the details and blah. And I put it together, and I had a script, and I recorded it,
oh
and
God.
I put it all together, and it was like a finished video. It took me ages. It was like an hour long. And okay, hold on, sorry, I've just suddenly remembered my battery's low. Hold on, let me get a charger. So just in case I just
Now I
suddenly.
have to keep in mind what we were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
to make sure.
yeah. Let's go. We're good. Um, hold on.
Back.
Okay, we're fine. What was I saying? Yeah, so I'd filmed it and everything, and I downloaded like a video editing program to like do it all in,
Yeah.
and it took so long. And then I published it, and it had a huge big watermark in the middle, like buy this software to have your full video
Oh
thing.
no.
And like the full software was crazy expensive, and so I published the video, but it had this huge, like right in the middle, and I was so angry, and I just basically binned it.
Oh
I still
no.
have I have all the clips. I still have all the clips, and I think I still have the voiceover. But it was so long ago. I have this thing where like because it was such a disappointment, part
Yeah.
of me still raging about it, and I'm like, I really want to do it again, but also, you
Well,
know.
I think the last video is about, I mean, 9 years ago or something. So, you know, it's not that old. So,
Yeah, but it was just, oh, I was so annoyed because it was really good, and just stupid
but you have, you
capitalism,
know,
money
yeah,
grabbing.
well, there is a free software called DaVinci Resolve
Mm-hmm.
if you need
I've
to
got
edit
that's
video.
what I've got now.
Well, did you
That's what I've been
use
using
that?
other ones for. But
Perfect.
it's just that thing of I'd finished it, and now I have
Yeah.
to start again. And it was a really long video because I think I had to do it in two parts because it was just start to finish, every detail. And so I'm still angry about it. But maybe one day.
No, but good to know. Oh, also, if you do you have a brand you will recommend for 112 scale horses?
Oh, it depends because 12th scale, it's a funny scale because I've got just up here. I have this is a as far as figures go, I've got this Heidi Ott doll who is reasonably posable. Not the best. You can get better figures these days, but the problem is a lot of. I would say that this is true 12th scale,
Okay.
right? Like I don't know how tall she is, but like this is about the right height. But a lot of the brands that are sold as 12th scale
Mm.
aren't. Like Rare, especially, are bad for this because the newer molds in 12th scale, the classic range, are massive. Like there's no way. Like it
I
just
agree.
doesn't work. Juleps, again, like juleps are very stylized. Let's find the pony using his little rug. They're very stylized. They're very
Oh,
cute.
that's actually really not.
Hold on.
That's I was really thinking of like a Barbie
Oh no,
cartoon-ish.
no. I mean they're definitely stylized. Like they're not got like realistic eyes or anything. But
Yeah, but
and they're
no,
very expensive now. Like the prices have gone up. But like they've got bendy legs, so
that's cool.
like you can pose them.
That's dope.
So like I've done stop motions and stuff with them before, but these are probably closer to 12, like actual 12th scale. Otherwise, I don't know. I think there's a few. I know Collecta does 12th scale stuff. I don't know, what's the other one? Safari, I think.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe they don't. Hold on. What have I got on the 12th scale range over there? It's like, where's my collection? Yeah, I don't really think I don't have much that's that scale, to be honest.
And 1/6 scale, what is the brand you will recommend?
Oh, 1/6.
Yeah.
I don't have any. Well, no, I do. I have two at the moment. One I made, and one that's really shit. Hold on. Oh, please don't fall off. Stop trying to roll off the shelf. Hold on. I have. Okay, you're coming too, apparently. This is the downside to 6 scale. Everything's so bloody huge.
Yeah, I can tell.
I've got this one is, I think this was an Action Man horse. I got him.
What?
He's really tinny and like anatomically he's a bit terrible. But
He's huge.
I'm gonna try and customize him because, in fact, hold on. Hold on, Max. You're not really kitted out for riding, but you can give it a bash. Like it's actually quite a good size, I would say for.
Oh yeah, it is.
But like, obviously not posable.
Yeah.
So I don't like it on principle. I don't like how the head's open. The mouth.
Yeah, but you can put, that thing on the. I don't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hold on.
Yay.
My battery's dying. Max is falling on the floor. My God. Okay, hold on. Let me just double check if the battery is actually charged. Okay, there we go. We're charging now.
Perfect.
We're now at 9%. Max fell on the floor so hard her hat fell off. So, wear a hat, kids.
But did you do a reroute or a haircut on her head?
Yeah. I really should do it again. It was what do they call it? Like synthetic yarn. If you brush it and straighten it, it goes really sleek.
Yeah.
It didn't go that sleek for her. It just sticks out. And I kind of messed up the glue on the top of her head, which is why she always wears a hat. So
that's clever.
So yeah, I would like to get her a horse at some point because like this guy I got in a raffle at a model horse show earlier this year because I just wanted to take a chance on him. And the lady who put him in the raffle was like, "Oh, thank God, I've been bringing him to shows for like the last year and no one ever like wants him."
Really?
So yeah, because he's big, he takes up space. Really light though. So I've got him.
But he looks really realistic to me.
Not bad. I'm definitely gonna do some like resculpting and stuff. But I really want to make a fully posable horse because the last one I made is Inky, and I made her ages and ages and ages ago, and it's just wire.
Oh.
So you can move her head.
Oh, cool.
You can move all her legs, but because it's just wire, the legs are really flimsy.
Oh.
And the head is actually too small for the body, which is really annoying. But I made it so she could move her ears.
Oh, that's so clever.
Stuff. But like, I made this years ago, so like I know I can do better now. And oh, you have a dead moth in your hair. Why have you done that? Never mind. But like, she doesn't really stand up properly anymore. So like, hold on. So you can see it a bit better.
What?
Like her legs are all a bit kind of wonky.
It's fine.
Like she's just sleepy.
Can't have someone on her back, but
Well,
it's
she
fine.
can. She can support weight.
Can she?
Oh my god, hold on. I could actually use the tripod like a tripod. That might work. Like, stay put. Yeah, like she can support the weight
Oh,
and stuff. But if she's just standing, it's fine. But if I wanted to like do different poses, then it's a bit like you can see her legs
yeah.
are starting to go, and
You
she's done well. She's done
made
well.
it.
But yeah, I really want to make another one because I did make I've made several versions of their dog. Their current Baxter situation, every time I've remade this dog, he's somehow grown. And now he's about wolf sized. Like I didn't realize how massive he was until I put a figure next to him, and I'm like, oh,
I love it.
he was supposed to be a collie.
I love it.
But yeah, he's posable as well. So like you can open his mouth and you can move his ears, and I've got all his legs. And
how many articulation did you put on?
Well, here's the thing. Again, I took tons and tons of photos to do a blog on how I made him, and I haven't actually posted it yet. But the truth is, I basically used an action figure as the body. There is a man in there.
No
there is a
way.
full out. Yeah, there is just a dude. Like I, like, this is like look elbow joint, and then this is like a separate hand, like an action man hand.
Oh my
peg that I put in. That's his knee, and then the thing, and then I just cut his head off, and I got some like what do you call it? Like you get those like articulated plastic armatures.
Yeah.
So that's on his head and on his tail. So his tail's fully posable as well. But yeah, there's just like a full on like naked man in there.
That's crazy good.
But yeah, he's massive. See, he looks okay with Bren because it's like fantasy.
Yeah.
But when it's just like normal Barbies, it's a bit like, why is your dog the size of a small pony? Like,
well, you know,
it's a bit weird.
It's like what was the name of it? Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You can have.
Oh yeah.
So it's about the same thing.
True. Hold on. Yeah, you can look at tacky glue while
I was about to say that.
Like, I understand.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I got into needle felting as well. So I've needle felted another dog. So yeah, it's funny. I'm not even a dog person, but I love greyhounds. So whippety things. So yeah, again, that one's like wire.
I'm just mind blown.
It's so fun as well. Like one of my friends, Tom, like he does needle felted horses. So we go to Needle Neddies on Instagram. He makes horses to order, and they're amazing. So actually, if you want a 12th scale horse, yeah,
that's where I could go.
Yeah, because in fact, I can show you because he's made one for me.
Really? Cool.
Yeah. So I wanted a Clydesdale, and I got one.
Holy cow!
So like, hold on, I'll take a rug off so you can actually see. Yeah, because
about cats.
I have made some cats.
You did.
And again, you're not going to believe this. I've taken loads of photos of them.
How surprising!
And I've not posted them because I can't come up with in my defense, I can't come up with a name for them. And I feel like until I've named them, I can't do anything with them. So until they tell me their names, they don't exist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is why I have some dolls up on that shelf that I love and I really want to photograph more, but they're not telling me their name. So yeah, it's really annoying. But yeah, so maybe like you can just like all the dapples and but again, completely posable.
Oh Lord.
So like you could have a little.
There are some people that are really, really talented.
Yeah, he's too good. Like it's not even fair. But like they're so cute. And it's all just wool.
Thing.
It's annoying.
Oh Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I saw him doing it and I'm like, I want to make stuff too.
Sure. Mood.
But yeah, that's the thing I would say to people is just try stuff. If
Yeah,
it
true.
doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, it's one thing I've found over the years when people have said, you know, like, oh, I could never make this, or like, I could never do that. And it's like, or I could never be as good
Oh
as
no,
these
that's
people.
the
And you're
worst
like,
thing to say.
well, nobody starts off like that.
I agree.
You know, I mean, I look at some of the stuff I made when I was a kid, and I'm just like, oh my God. You know, like, I still have a little leather saddle that I made for one of my toy horses when I was a child. And it literally was a piece of leather that was like vaguely saddle shaped. And I blue tacked it onto the horse. I didn't even have a girth. I just like blue tacked it on.
The
And I was like,
amount of
yeah,
laziness.
it's like realism. That's it. It looks amazing. And then I still have it somewhere. And anytime I feel really shit about my tack, I just look at it and I'm like, well, it's not blue tacked anymore. So
Yeah, you made some progress here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
but yeah, just make stuff. Like, it's
Yeah.
fun. And if you're not having fun, do something else.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. And half the thing is, if you're forcing yourself to make something and you're not enjoying it, stop.
I agree.
No, I mean, for me, half the fun is actually just making things, not even the finished thing. Because I will be fully immersed in making whatever I'm making, and then I finish with it, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, bored now.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Which is annoying because I've had people say, oh, can you make this? Could you do this to commission? And I'm like, no, because I need to be in the mood for it. And if I'm not, then
I'm not going to put my heart on it.
Yeah, I mean, I do have an Etsy shop now where I'm trying to sell some of my plants, but I don't really know how to market myself either. So I'm kind of like, here's the plants, guys, buy them, and that's it.
Yeah,
So-
it's like someone who opened a miniature shop and he just put it and just, well, it's there if you want, you know. I don't do any posts, any videos, nothing, you know, like. So
I've had
yeah, I
one
can
sale.
totally
I've
relate.
had one sale, so that's something. But
Wow.
I'm just like,
That's not
more, please.
That's not zero.
That's true. That is true. It's just sad when the first month goes by and Etsy's like, look at your shop, the month of your shop. And it's like, no favorites, no purchases, no profit. You owe us £4 in listing fees or whatever. And I'm like, great.
Well, the thing is that Etsy doesn't even allow me to open a shop
Oh,
on their
really?
platform. Yeah, I have been waiting for like maybe over a month now, and I keep contacting the customer services to say, okay, so where is it going on? We have to check something. We have to check this. Yes, but it's been months, so
Oh, stupid.
I don't know what is going on. You know, like.
Do you not have have they given you a reason? Or is it just like, oh, technical problems or
Oh
something?
yeah, and you have to also send an email. And I was thinking that this is really like the most great advice ever. They gave me an email address and they asked me to send an email to that email address that contained no reply. They had the email address, and on the email address there is the word no reply on it, and I'm like, I'm supposed to contact them? Really? Thank you, Etsy, for this help. You know, like, really? Oh my God.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Etsy.
I mean, I
It's
must
going like
admit,
madness.
I say I've had a sale. I haven't actually seen any of the money yet because I went in the other day to see like when my money was going to come out, and it was like, oh, you need to confirm your bank account. I was like, well, I did that when I literally started my Etsy, but okay. So they do that thing where they send you like a couple of pennies, put it in your account, and then you have to like confirm that you received, 9p or whatever. So I did that, and then it's like, oh, there was a problem confirming your address. Can you do it again? So I think I've done it, and now it's like, oh, it'll take you about 10 days before we can confirm that your thing is a thing. And I'm like, but I confirmed last month.
For fuck's sake.
Like,
That doesn't make any sense. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
me and
at all.
technology are not good friends.
No, I don't think it's a problem with technology. I think it's a problem with the platform itself, because there is many videos on YouTube saying that people are leaving the platform, and I just start to believe to understand why people are leaving. This is just like a fucking nightmare. But well, life goes on. Dolls are fun, and that's the only thing that matters. So
We try.
Yeah, that's true. At least we try. It doesn't cost that well. It did cost money, but we try.
It's not too bad. I once tried to sign up for, oh, what was it? Spoodflower. It's that company where you can design your own fabric.
Wow.
Right? So basically you just put in your design and then they sell the fabric and stuff, right? You can also just put your own pattern in and just buy it for yourself. Because I've done that once or twice and it was like, great. And then I made a couple of designs and I was like, oh, I should put them up for sale. And going through all the shenanigans, they were like, oh, we need to have your tax returns for like the full financial year to prove you're a person or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even have tax returns. I don't make any money. Like,
That's fucked.
Like I'm a real person, but I don't believe you. Like, I don't know if it was just a Europe, it might just been an EU thing, so I don't know, maybe
so.
That's a benefit of Brexit, maybe I can actually do it now.
I think so.
But like, yeah, I just remember looking at it going, eh?
I think it is that.
But yeah, if you ever want to design your own fabric, it is a good platform, actually.
Until a certain point.
Yeah. It's good though, because you can scale it, so if you put in a design, you can like scale it down. So you could make like smaller prints. Cool. Yeah, and like change the layout of the pattern. I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe it. But like if you had like that's like a check pattern.
Yeah.
So you could change it so like maybe the check was in the middle, or it was like offset, or it was like it repeated differently and stuff. So it's really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking that like when you want like a printed shirt with some like whatever Hello Kitty heads, like for example, you can actually print that.
Yeah, and one thing I did see, which I really want to try out at one point, is they do a thing where, you know, you get like a fat quarter of fabric. I don't know how like the size it is, but they'll do you one of multiple fabric patterns. I think it's for quilters, but I was like, if you had like different patterns, you could just get one piece of fabric that has like all of the things on it. I was like, so yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of good advice. That being said, it was really, really, really nice for you to join for the show. And yeah, I just already asked you the last question. So we're going to stay in contact with the Bug Doll content creator and see what will happen. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much. It was really, really a lot of fun. It was really, really nice. So
yeah, that was cool.
Have a nice day. And well, have a nice evening though.
Yes, and you.
Bye.
Bye.